How to draw super curly hair. So super curly hair is definitely the most challenging of the three, and that's just because A, there's a lot of it, and B, the curls are so fine. And it's often harder when you have brown or black hair because you don't see everything as clearly as maybe you would see for someone that had blonde hair. But that is particularly why I am choosing someone who is brunette because we like a challenge. So let's take a look at this picture here. Unfortunately, I was not able to print it out because I don't have a printer at home and I am no longer at school, so just bear with me. In the same way that we started with wavy hair or loosely curled hair, we want to look for the different clusters or the sections. Now, because there's a lot happening in here, my suggestion is you just draw what you can see. So don't just make up clusters at this point. Try to figure out, like, what do I see? Are there any shapes that I can find? So right now I was looking and I found this piece right here, this piece for this piece for this. I can also go draw, or I have this here for that. I might draw a little arc here for this one, up here for this one, up here for that one. So you just draw what you can see. And the main thing is because the curls are so tight, because they're so small, there's a lot of highlight shadow switches. And that's mostly what you're going to be doing. So draw what you can see, and then you're going to start shading in the direction that the cluster is going. Looking for highlights and shadows. Okay, so I'll start up here, and I can see that it's shadow up here and the highlight is in the center, so I'm going to start making marks, layering my marks. Where the highlight is, I'm going to ease off, and then coming down here. Okay, then over here it is dark again, here, dark again, light, then it goes dark down here, and then it's light again over here. Wow, it's really hard to talk and click and draw. Then it's dark over here, and it's light over here, and then it finishes up being dark. So I'm switching the directions. My marks are following the cluster shape. So here I'll do the same thing. So it's darker on the bottom, lighter on the top. Down here I see that it's dark. Okay. Then down here it's dark, and then it's light, and then it's dark again. Over here, dark, light, dark. Here, light, dark, light, dark, and so on and so forth. So what starts to happen is we start building up the texture of the curly hair, which is good, but then in the places where you can't really decipher what's going on, this is where you're just going to have to use your brain and think to yourself, okay, if the formula is that there are clusters all going in a direction, then now in those negative spaces where I can't see what's really happening, I'm going to make that up. So, for example, right here in between these spaces, I don't really see a cluster, so I'm going to just make it dark because that is the value that I see. But the important thing is that I'm going to make all of my lines going in the same direction, because if I just go like this and not like this is going to be really messy and weird. So I'm going to mark in dark here, up here. It's also a bit darker. To the right of this cluster, it's also darker, but then I see some light, so I'll ease off. in between these two is mostly dark, but I have little strips of light, so I'll try to capture that. Okay. And down here, I have mostly dark with a little bit of light coming through. Make that mostly dark. Okay. And down here, I have a little bit of light, so I'll try to keep that. And I just slowly start filling things in, right? So I still have the main sections, clusters that I do see, so I'm drawing the curls, but then all the space in between the curls, I'm just filling in with values. But instead of just going like that, just super dark, I still want to make those values by adding imaginary clusters, if you will. If you're feeling really overwhelmed by curly hair, just pick a small corner and try to break it down. If you have access to a printer, print out the picture and trace over what you can see, either with a highlighter or with a Sharpie. Trace so you can just understand, so you can think about it, like see it in your brain first before you actually draw it. Okay? I'm not expecting you to do an entire square filled with hair. Just a small square like this would be sufficient, so long as it's neat and I see that you're doing it with intention and purpose.